When you think of personal finance, do you go, ah? That's how most people feel. So, my name's Karen Rossi. I am a personal finance teacher, and I am super, 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 super passionate about showing young adults and older adults about finance and how you can become financially successful in 2024. So, if you like my videos, please subscribe below so I can make more videos, and stay tuned for our next session. First of all, the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to talk about what your budget should be for a car, whether it be a new car, a used car, or if you lease a car. So I'll talk about all the advantages and disadvantages and then help you come up with a budget for your car that you're going to buy. And then we're going to see if you can afford it. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, your budget. Your budget is so important because you're going to be paying your loan for between 3 and 5 years. So you have to keep your budget in mind and not go crazy. Okay, so the budget is 20% of your monthly net pay. All right, so if I'm already like, if I've already gone over your head, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you everything. So what I want you to do is take out a paycheck. Okay, so take out a paycheck that your job has given you. So depending on how many times a week that you get paid. So most people get paid every 2 weeks, but if you get paid every week, that's fine too. Okay, so let's just say you get paid 2 times a month. Okay, so if you get paid 2 times a month, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your paycheck and you're going to look under where it says net pay. Okay, so net pay. So you're going to look at that number. Okay, so if I make in 2 weeks, let's say I make $2,000 net pay. Okay, so look under that net pay. If that number says $2,000, so in the whole month, if I make $2,000 in 2 weeks and I get paid the same every single week, then I'll make $4,000 in a month. Does that make sense? So remember, net pay, and then you're going to multiply by 2 because you get paid every 2 weeks. So that $2,000 would be $4,000. Now, if you get paid every week, you're just going to take the net pay and multiply it by 4 because there's 4 weeks in a month. Okay, so if you got paid $1,000 every week, then you multiply that by 4 and then you get $4,000 a month. All right, so that is so key to figuring out how much you can afford. All right, so the finance rule is do not pay any more than 20% of your monthly net pay. Okay, so 20%. So really easily. So what you're going to do is you open up your calculator. Okay, so just go on any calculator, go on the computer, right? I'm just going on the computer. And if I say $4,000, and then I'm going to do times 20%. Okay, so once I do that, it's going to give me $800. Okay, so $800 is 20% of $4,000. Okay, so you cannot pay any more than $800. Now, you're like, wow, I can get a car payment for $800? No, that's the total amount you can pay for transportation expenses. So if you think about it, there's lots that go into your car. So first you have your car, then you have your car insurance. If you live in New Jersey like me, that could be a lot of money. All right, so car insurance. Then you have gas. Okay, so gas can cost a lot. I drive electric, so it costs me nothing. All right, but you have to take your gas. If you commute, lots of people where I live commute to the city, so you have to take that into effect. Parking, right? Anything that has to do with your car. But your two big expenses is your monthly car payment plus your insurance, your monthly insurance. So if you're not sure how much you pay for insurance, just look at your bill, see if your bill is for 6 months or 1 year. Okay, and then just either divide it by 12 if it was for a year, and 6 months you would divide it by 6. So you can see like, what do I pay every single month for insurance? Right, so make sure before you're buying a car, you're gonna budget out how much you can spend. It's so, so, so important. Okay, so once you have that amount, so 20% of my salary would be $800 I can spend on the car for my car payment, my insurance, my tolls, my parking, right? Anything that has to do with your car, okay? So that's your budget. Once you have your budget, now you have to decide, am I gonna buy a new car? Am I gonna buy a used car? Or am I gonna lease a car, right? So let's talk about that. So if I buy a brand new car, that has lots of advantages. Okay, so the main advantage is I'm buying a brand new car. No one's ever used it, right? It has all the newest technology, has auto drive, right? I have like all these fabulous like airbags everywhere, right? Super exciting, looks good, no scratches, right? So that is the pluses, right? I have a new car. I have it under warranty. So most cars have 3 years, 36,000 miles. So I don't have to worry about fixing the car for 3 years, because if anything's wrong with it, as long as I didn't get in an accident, then it is fixed for free. So that's huge, okay? Now, disadvantages of buying a new car. Once I drive that car off the lot, I have lost so much value in the car. So if I bought the car, let's say I bought the car for $30,000, you can't even buy that many cars for $30,000 anymore. So I drive off that lot, I've lost at least 10% of the value of that car, at least, okay? And I haven't even left the dealership parking lot, okay? So you will lose value as soon as you drive off the lot, okay? So that's the huge disadvantage. The other huge disadvantage, and if you live in New Jersey, you have to think about this, is that new cars have the highest insurance, the highest, because think, the insurance company has to replace a brand new car. They don't want to do that. Okay, so they're like, she wrecked her $30,000 brand new car, we have to buy her a new one. Okay, so they're gonna stick it to you for insurance, right? The other thing is that it's a brand new car. Like, you're going to be heartbroken if you get like one little scratch on it, right? So you really have to think about those things when you're buying a car. So you're going to have the highest loan payment, right? Because you're buying a new car and they're expensive. Highest insurance, okay? But you're buying a fabulous car that you don't have to fix. All right, so let's switch gears. So instead of buying a new car, what if I bought a used car? Okay, so first I have to find a used car, okay? That can be a little scary, right? Because when I was looking for a used car, I was looking everywhere, and I ended up buying a used car on Marketplace. Crazy, I know, crazy. But I wanted a specific car. I only wanted a car that was a year old, so I still was under warranty, right? So I was looking for a specific thing, and I happened to find it on Marketplace. Crazy. But so you have to find the car that you're looking for, okay? So that's kind of hard. A used car is a great starter car. So if you're just starting to drive, you're like 17, 18, 19, you're gonna get into an accident. Like, I hope not a big one, right? So you need to use cars all the way, right? So used cars, you're not going to have the newest technology, right? Someone else has used it, banged it up maybe a little bit, scratched it, right? So that's definitely disadvantages. Advantages is I'm going to pay less insurance, right? A great starter car. I have to be careful when I buy it because I don't want to buy a lemon, right? I want to have a mechanic like look it over and make sure I'm not buying a complete lemon. So definitely do that, okay? All right, now let's go to leasing cars. People are like, should I lease? Should I lease? Should I do that? Right? So leasing is the same as renting. You do not own the car. Do not own the car at all, okay? So I'm just renting the car for usually like 3 years. I have to stay within a mileage. So usually it's like 10,000 miles, maybe 7, 8, 10, okay? I have to stay within that mileage. If I go over the mileage, I have to pay for every mile over, right? And then they assign like a certain, like maybe it's like 50 cents a mile. It could be as much as that. So you have to be careful when you lease. If you get one scratch on the car, one ding, one dent, you have to fix it. You don't own that car. Okay, so you have to be really careful. When you're paying your lease payments, you're just like this, opening your wallet out and throwing the money out the window. Literally just throwing it out, because you're not getting any equity in the car. You don't own the car, you're not renting, you're just renting it. So when you're paying a loan, every time you pay a loan, you own a little piece of that car. You own a little more, you own a little more. And then at the end of the 3 years, you own the whole thing, okay? But with a lease, you're just paying like, and it's just going out the window. You're not getting anything back, okay? A lot of people who own businesses lease cars because the business owns the car and the business is leasing it. So it's very smart for them. So you have to be careful with leasing, right? Also, when you're leasing a car, it's a new car, so insurance is going to be a little bit higher because if you get into an accident, they have to replace, right, that lease car. So buying a new car, a used car, or leasing a car, whichever you choose to do, okay, so you have to weigh your options. Whatever you choose to do, you have to stay within your budget. Okay, if you go outside of that 20% for transportation costs, you have to skimp on something else, like your home or leaving the house for entertainment. So you have to get that money from somewhere. And remember, we don't want to just live to pay our loans, right? You want to live, to do things, to go on adventures, right? A car is great, but you want to do other things. So you want to make sure that you're staying within this 20%. And it has to be everything, not just the payment, okay? Absolutely everything. Insurance, car, gas, everything, okay? So when you're making those decisions, really stick to your budget, really research the car, drive the car, test drive the car. If it's a used car, have a mechanic look at it. It's so worth it. Don't take their word for it, right? They sell cars. That's their job, right? So your job is to make sure that you have a reliable car, okay? So definitely make sure that you're looking into this. Now, this age is really crazy because some used cars are more than new cars, right? Because during COVID, we had like a issue with getting cars, right? So they became very expensive. So when you're looking for cars, really make sure that you're getting a good deal on the car. A lot of people trade in cars to help with their sales tax, right? Because when you buy a car, you have to pay sales tax, whether it's new or used. So don't forget that. People forget that all the time. The only car you don't have to pay sales tax on is an electric car, okay? I learned that. Okay, in New Jersey, you don't have to pay sales tax on electric cars. Really cool thing, right? But make sure you're taking into account all those things and that you will have to pay this every month. So we want to keep our monthly expenses down, right? The more we keep our monthly expenses down, the more that we can save. Okay, so our goal is to save.